Hello, and today we are going to make some saltwater jars. Okay, so this is a really easy one, and you'll probably have all of these at home. If not, just be a bit creative. You can probably do it with sugar. Okay, but I have got 2 measuring jugs. Each have got roughly a cup of water in. I need 2 cups. Ideally they need to be see-through, whether they're plastic or glass, it doesn't matter, but don't use coloured ones because it'll be trickier to see. And 2 different types of food colouring. Now it doesn't matter what colours, I've used blue and red for this one. And some salt, okay? Not the salt you kind of grind onto your dinner, the really fine salt, okay? You see? And that is all. Oh, and a spoon. Okay, so first of all, you are going to get one of your measuring jugs of water and dissolve your salt into it, okay? So year 5, we know all about dissolving. It's going to look like the salt's disappeared, but I know if I taste it, it's definitely not disappeared. Okay, so you're gonna have to mix it. Or maybe I've got too much salt out here. Needs to be transparent, so maybe I've put too much salt in already. Okay, I hadn't added too much in, I just wasn't being patient. You've just got to wait a while, stir it, put some more in. As soon as it looks like it's going clear and transparent, put a bit more in, only little bits every time, and keep stirring, okay? So just be patient and get those muscles going stirring. But remember, so we know what dissolving is. It looks like the salt disappears, but I know if I taste this, the salt has definitely not disappeared. It's definitely still going to be there. But remember, when the salt mixes with the liquid of the water, the liquid, it acts like the kryptonite for salts and breaks the bonds, so the salt molecules disperse throughout the water molecules. That's why you can't see the singular molecules of salt anymore because they're so small. So mine is gradually becoming transparent. Mix it a bit more, just be patient, okay? But whilst I'm waiting for that one to go, I'm going to get my non-salty one and put some colour in it. Right, let me make sure I get the right colour to match my instructions. Okay, so the non-salty one, mine is going to be blue. Don't need much, I probably put a lot in there. Don't cover your mum's table in coloured splodges as well. Okay, mix that again. Okay, and then, that's dissolving. Okay, you want to get this as saturated with salt as possible. So the more salt the better, but remember it's got to all actually dissolve. So when it starts to get cloudy, even after resting it and leaving it for a bit, you put too much in. Right, and this one is going to be red. Okay, so the salt hasn't made me get any more or less water. I've got the same amount of volume of water, it's just this has now become denser, okay, so it's become heavier, okay, because the salt molecules have mixed in. Right, so now I am going to pour half of the salty water into 1 glass. Roughly. And half of the non-salty water into the other glass. It's not very blue, that one. A bit more in. Very scientific mixing material there with a ruler. Okay, right, so remember I have said this one is non-salty, my red one is salty, okay, and my saltier water is now denser or heavier. So if I get my spoon's just to help me pour it a bit more. Let me make sure I'm doing this the right way around. Okay, if I pour my red water, my salty water, into my blue glass, okay, over the spoon just to disturb it less, the 2 colours will mix, so I'll get a nice purple colour, okay, because my salty water is denser, heavier, so it sinks to the bottom, so we can see there that it's mixed through. However, if I get my non-salty water, so this is lighter, this is less dense than this salty one, and pour it over the top of my spoon. Remember, that's just to help not disturb it, because if you pour it, it's all going to splosh everywhere, but this gently pours it in. And then, this is where the magic, or the science I should say, happens. Fingers crossed, I feel a bit tense myself. Oh, I don't know if it's working. Do it slowly, so you're not disturbing the water as much as possible. Okay, and I'm going to leave these for 5 minutes. We'll come back and hopefully check the science has worked. Right, so this one where we poured normal water into it first and then the salty water on top, you can see it's all mixed into one and there's no real difference in the shades. But this one where we poured the salty water in first, or we've gone out of focus, and then the normal water on top, you can see we've got the salty water, there's a nice red chunk at the bottom. Now it's not really gone blue at the top, it's gone more purple, but you can still see that we've got more salty water at the bottom than we have at the top, because it's been denser. The salty water's denser than the normal water, so the salty water's gone to the bottom. Okay, now if you look on the learning picture that I've sent out with it, it shows you where this actually occurs in real life, but also it gives you a challenge. Okay, so once you've done this one, if that works, then see what other liquids you can find around the house. We did it in year 5 for Science Day last year when we had them layered in a glass to make different rainbows, so see if you can do that as well.